Well, hello, everybody. Glad you're with us here on this cold Wednesday. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy in association with our friends at Yellow Hammer News. Barry, what used to be what some people thought a national holiday, I'm taking the day off, National Signing Day. I'm not sure a lot of people out there even know today is that day.
Oh, man. Today, it's the confluence of about 3 or 4 of our favorite things and recruiting. So
Yeah.
there's a lot to get through today. It is National Signing Day, where PSAs can sign their GIAs and LOIs on NSD to LSU or SMU or UCLA or anywhere. This is great.
Yeah, boy, I remember the day.
Yeah.
Man, people were just frantically running around, checking, calling people up on the phone, calling radio stations back in the day when we were doing it that way prior to the internet. And even fax cam girl, would go get the faxes out of the machine at Alabama dressed in her tight, high, what's the I'm trying to think of the pattern of that skirt.
Houndstooth?
Houndstooth. I was thinking herringbone. Houndstooth. Yes.
Yeah.
Houndstooth skirt. I do remember when we first got a look at her face and we went, whoa. Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story for another day.
Yeah. And they still use faxes.
Wow.
I mean, not every time. I mean, just about every school, you can still fax in your does anybody else use faxes? My wife works in a law office and I know they've got one because I've seen it over there in the corner, but I think that's the only time anybody uses faxes. It's a confluence of a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to try to keep you updated with our L&M NSD HQ here today, somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many other things, John. National Signing Date's great.
Mm-hmm.
There's huge basketball.
Oh boy, yeah.
Philip Marshall, no less of an august persona than Philip Marshall, said this may be one of the most attractive regular season matchups in the history of Auburn basketball. If they beat Duke tonight at Cameron Indoor, might Auburn be a consensus number 1 basketball team?
I don't see how they could not be. I mean, they've beaten some ranked teams already, going on the road, beating Duke tonight. I think would vault them in that number 1 spot. I think they deserve it. I hadn't seen a team that looks better than Auburn at this point. Granted, it's young, but I'm glad you referenced Phillip because he's back to his old ways, Barry. What I pay my money for. Letting us know they've won 2 SEC championships, 2 SEC championship tournaments, been to a Final Four,
right,
and got screwed by the official who swallowed his whistle.
Yes,
that's what I pay my money for.
There you go. That's what John wants to see, especially it helps with your perspective when you buy into the notion, as John has, that Phillip is Auburn.
Yes.
He is the heart and soul and mind of the Auburn family. If he says it, done. And that's how the Auburn people feel about it, for sure.
And that's how I feel about it as well.
Well,
hey, good morning. Hello to everybody out there. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Always the greetings early in the morning on our River Region Straw chat line. You can also email us, Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com. Coach has emailed us. Wow, we're going to get to that in a minute. That could be the bottom line on this college football playoff. We'll get into that later. Barry, here in just a moment, our man Stephen M. Smith from Touchdown Alabama is going to join us. CJ Duncan at the bottom of this hour from Yellow Hammer News. There's a lot going on, obviously, with signing day, some big basketball. Obviously, the college football playoff last night and the bracket that was released. We're going to get into that. But our man Stephen M. Smith is up early today with us because there's a lot going on in Tuscaloosa, and we appreciate Stephen M. Smith from Touchdown Alabama carving off a little time today. How you doing today, Stephen?
Doing great, guys. How we feeling?
We're feeling good. How are you feeling about what you saw last night from the College Football Playoff Committee? Alabama seeded 11. What's your initial reaction to that?
Well, John, Barry, it's crazy because I'm thinking the committee was going to have Miami there because the fact that of Miami, the 2 close losses to Georgia Tech and Syracuse, the committee had been talking about we value close losses. We value if you played consistent for the most part. Alabama been kind of up and down all year. But the fact that the committee looked at the Tide's ranked wins, they said, look, Alabama 3-1 against top 25 teams. You got a big win over Georgia, who's ranked number 5. Big win over South Carolina, ranked 13. Big win over Missouri, ranked 22. And they said, well, Alabama's also 6-1 against teams above 500. Miami only 4-2. So despite the bad loss to Oklahoma that was on Alabama's schedule, the committee took the ranked wins and Alabama's record over teams above 500, trumping the bad loss over Oklahoma, which is huge for Alabama because now this sets up SMU handles business against Clemson. Bama backdoors itself right there in the college football playoff, and it sets up Bama traveling to South Bend to play Notre Dame in round 1.
Oh, don't get John started, Stephen M.
Which causes Barry, college football purists and traditionalists to lose their mind because they're like, Bama, Notre Dame, and South Bend?
I can't take it anymore, Stephen.
It's unbelievable.
It would be too good. I mean, Barry couldn't live with me for that week leading up to that matchup with the Golden Domers. But let's don't get ahead of ourselves. Because
No. This is John preaching patience here. Come on now.
You got to be patient here. But I'm excited about that potential matchup. But Stephen M., does it boil down in your mind that it's got to be SMU beating Clemson? If that doesn't happen, is Alabama out, or is there another way maybe Bama stays in the top 12?
Okay, so if Clemson beats SMU, then there's a huge conversation of does SMU go in over Bama? Because they're going to take the conference champion. Clemson wins. Clemson's going in. So now it becomes, okay, SMU with 2 losses here, even though they lost in the conference championship game, do we still value them and put them in? Because the committee has already made this precedent of, even if Georgia loses to Texas, we're not going to penalize Georgia. Georgia's going to go in. So if SMU loses, now here comes SMU asking the committee, hey, you've already set this thing up for Georgia. Can we go in here too? Or does the committee say, well, we still like Alabama's ranked wins? It's going to be crazy if Clemson wins this, because it's going to be a full-on debate about, okay, do we leave SMU out and put Alabama in here? This is why it doesn't matter if the college football playoff is 4 teams, 8 teams, 12 teams. Somebody is going to get left out. Yeah. Somebody is going to have an argument regardless.
And then that brings up, it kind of feels like really, Stephen M., that Lane Kiffin was right. Coaches, if they had the choice, they'd probably rather not have to play in a conference championship game. If SMU didn't have to play in the ACC, they're in the ACC title game, they're in comfortably. That's a flaw, right?
I mean, it is. And very rarely do you agree with Lane Kiffin, but this is one of those moments where the controversial guy has a point. Yeah. This is one of those rare moments where the controversial Kiffin has a point.
I work with a guy like that.
Yeah, maybe so. I've always liked Lane. Now I know why. Well, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. I know people are gnashing their teeth and nervous and trying to figure out what's going to happen here. But I'll ask you this, Stephen M. Is Alabama good enough to be in the playoff? I know they beat Auburn last Saturday. I said it Monday. It was the least exciting Iron Bowl I can remember in a long time. I see some flaws. The running game to me is non-existent. If it wasn't for Milroe and his feet, I'm not sure Alabama would have a running game. I don't see a lot of other wide receivers getting in on the action. I could go on, but heck, they won the game. They're 9-3. They're knocking on the door. But are they good enough to be in the playoff?
No, and here's why. Because we don't. There's no foundation there. We don't know what Alabama is. Really, we don't know. Like every week we see a different Alabama show up. One week you turn your TV on, there's the Alabama against Wisconsin who's dominating. There's the Alabama first half against Georgia that's killing Kirby Smart up and down the field. There's the Alabama against MSU that runs them completely out of Tiger Stadium. But then you turn on your TV and there's the Alabama against Oklahoma. What is that?
Yeah.
I mean, there's the Alabama against Tennessee. What is that? I mean, there's the Alabama against Vanderbilt. What is that? I mean, there's the Alabama for much of the game against South Carolina until you pull them away at the end. What is that? So you really do not know what Alabama is showing up on your TV screen every week. There's no concrete foundation with this team.
Speaking of that, and you mentioned, the ups and downs this year, categorize the win over Auburn. What struck you about that, if anything?
Okay, so I think what categorized the win over Auburn was a lot of the trash talk that went into that week. We saw a couple of Auburn players, taking some shots there. And so Alabama wanting to go out there and prove, hey, we may not have had the best season, but we can still beat you up. So that categorized, that win there over Auburn. You saw two fights occur on the field.
Yeah.
One of those two happened at the end of the game where I'm down there on the field, and you have athletic director Greg Byrne get in between these guys and pull some guys out.
Hey,
I'm like, Greg Byrne, you're the AD. We can't have you getting hurt out here. But Here comes Greg Byrne, jumping in there, pulling some guys out of a fight there that should not have even been involved. But there's the passion there of the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, I hate seeing that, Stephen. And we saw flag planting in other locations over the weekend. We've seen field storming throughout the season. I think college football's got to reel that in. To me, it's getting way out of hand. Something bad could happen. Somebody could take a cheap shot at a coach, a player, a fan, whomever. So in the offseason, I hope they get that straightened out. Signing day. Are you expecting any surprises? What about this class Kalen DeBoer and this staff have put together?
Well, so far, guys, really good class right now. There's a few guys have already signed on. You got a Marshall Pritchett, 4-star tight end that sent his letter of intent in. You got Luke Metz, a big-time linebacker out of Georgia, who's put his letter of intent in. A 4-star edge, and Justin Hill has put his letter of intent in. So far, quite a few guys have said, look, I've put my pen to paper. I'm coming to Alabama. Keon Russell, I am so excited about this 5-star quarterback from Duncanville, Texas. He'll enroll early. And that competition in that quarterback room, especially what happens with Jalen Milroe. If he decides to go ahead on and pursue the NFL draft, then you're looking at Ty Simpson, Dylan Larnigan, Austin Mack, and Keegan Russell competing next spring. And if Russell comes in here and pushes strongly, it's going to be exciting to see what happens there in that conversation. You look at the offensive line class. Now, Ty Haywood, the big 5-star, he may flip. He could flip to Michigan. There's a lot of NIL interest there. If he does, then you would have Mal Waldrop in this class, Jackson Lloyd, Micah DeBose, and Michael Carroll. So still 4 very strong offensive linemen to round out that class. If Ty Haywood decides, I'm going to go to Sharon Moore and look at this NIL bag that's presented to me by the University of Michigan. So right now, DeBoer, Courtney Morgan, that's the general manager, they're putting together a very good class right now, as some of the early names are starting to have that pen put to paper.
Now, you mentioned this. If you had any advice to give Jalen Milroe about his future, what would that be?
My advice to him right now would be strike while the iron's hot right now. I understand that he could come back to college, either that be in Alabama or that being elsewhere, and getting another year of tutelage under him in terms of the passing game. But when you have everybody, we're talking McShay, Kuiper, Bucky Brooks, Daniel Jeremiah, everybody notable as far as draft pundits having you as out the number 2 quarterback on the board, the number 3 quarterback on the board, and you got a chance to be a first-round top 20 pick. We're talking millions of dollars here. Take that money. Go and take that money. I understand, in the NFL, you get drafted first round. You're probably going to go to not the best possible situation, and they want you to start right away. Hey, look, I get that. But at the same time, you take that generational money. You take that generational money, and who knows? You could land yourself in the best possible situation, but that generational money, you take that. So if I'm Milroe, strike. My grandmother always said, God rest her soul, baby, when the money rolls, roll with it. My grandmother, when the money rolls, baby, roll with the cash flow.
Grandmama knows. She's smart.
So the cash flow is saying, Milroe, hop in there. I think Milroe, prepare yourself for the combine, hop in there.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Stephen.
And grandma. Yeah,
and grandma too. All right, what about some transfers? What are you hearing? Anybody who you think's opting out or actually transferring out of Tuscaloosa?
Well, right now, 2 guys have already made plans to enter the portal once that window opens, which will open next Monday, December 9th. It'll close December 28th. So right now, the 2 names in there, Jaleel Hurley, the former 5-star defensive back from Florence, Alabama, who came in that 2023 class. He plans to enter the portal. A guy that had a tremendous high school career, just didn't quite materialize in Tuscaloosa. And sometimes that happens. Yeah. Sometimes it just does not work out well there. So he's a good kid, a strong athlete, just did not materialize here. So he plans to enter the portal once that window opens on the 9th. And another name that's hopped in, Kobe Prentice, former 4-star wide receiver from Calera High School, has planned to enter the portal as well. And this one's kind of disappointing for me because here's a young man that came in as the most experienced, productive receiver on the roster prior to the season. We're looking at 49 catches, 651 yards, 4 touchdowns, and just did not get used much at all this season. I understand the concussion he suffered against Vanderbilt, but it's like the coaching staff, they went more to Ryan Williams and it went more to Jeremy Bernard, the transfer from Washington, and you really didn't see much of Prentice out there. So Prentice deciding to pursue the portal as well once that window opens. So those 2 guys, they join the likes of Keanu Coote, who's entering the portal, Jaheim Otis, who's entering the portal. So it's going to be very interesting to see if any other names decide to follow that same protocol. What I've been told right now is, keep your eyes on guys like Kendrick Law, who could go in there. Guys like Keon Keeley, keep your eyes on him. Guys like Elijah Pritchett on the offensive line, keep your eyes on that name right there. Keep your eyes on possibly Dylan Larnigan. If things don't look right for him in spring ball, could he enter in there? Keep your eyes on names like Damon Payne Jr. on the defensive line, Danny Lewis Jr. at tight end. So this portal window, once it opens on December 9th, we could see more Bama players pursue that spot, pursue that area. But right now you got Jaleel Hurley and Kobe Prentice already saying, hey, we're going to go this way.
Boy, this is great stuff. Yeah. Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama. I know you have been busy. You're going to be really, really busy cranking out content. How do people access it?
They can go to touchdownalabama.com. They can do that right now, touchdownalabama.com, and get that subscription. We already got National Signing Day stuff flying out there as Alabama trying to finish up this class with signees and get these guys all on pen to paper here. But touchdownalabama.com is where they can access the information.
Outstanding as always, Stephen M. We appreciate you getting up early with us today. I know it's busy. National Signing Day. Follow it all with Stephen M. at touchdownalabama.com. Hey, we'll talk soon, my friend. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Take care.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much, Stephen M. Smith. One thing that really caught my attention, Barry, when you talked about transfers, if they make the playoff, are they all in? If they go to a bowl game, they're opting out. You got to kind of wonder the psyche, the mindset of some of these players that are on that path to transfer. Are they all in if they go to a playoff?
I don't know why. I haven't really looked into it, but this is why it's crazy, John, that you announce the playoffs on Sunday on the 8th. The bowls will be announced on the 8th as well. And the transfer portal opens up the 9th. Why is that? Why do you do that? Coaches are trying to get players signed. They're trying to get a team ready for a bowl game. They are always having to re-recruit their guys. And now if somebody does enter the transfer portal on Monday, if I'm a coach, John, I'm not leaving the option up to them. You can't have them still there, you know?
No way.
I would jump the route. I would say, look, I know you want to stay because you want to get the bold swag and that last month of money, but of NIL money, but no.
Yeah.
If
you're leaving, you might as well pack your bags right now. All right, when we come back from our first break, we're going to talk about last night's college football playoff rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Also tonight, big basketball games in the state of North Carolina. Bama taking on the Tar Heels. Auburn playing Duke at Cameron Indoor. That's going to be great tonight. And also National Signing Day. So lots going on. Get in on the chat, sponsored by River Region Straw. Also get in on our email inbox, our Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry email inbox, Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com. CJ Duncan in about 15 minutes.
We're looking forward to all of it. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. In conjunction with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Shopping for a budget-friendly, reliable used car, or maybe a stunning new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram? Well, in Prattville, it's always a process that starts with the team of professionals from Stiver CDJR. Thanks to years of experience helping others in the local community enjoy premium service, low prices, and access to a wealth of amazing new and used cars, it's safe to say that Stiver's Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram is the name to beat in Prattville. But hey, just don't take my word for it. Experience the Stiver's difference for yourself. Prices that will not be beat, a huge inventory, and knowledgeable, helpful sales associates. See why so many happy car and truck buyers shop at Stiver's CDJR, where price spells cars and trucks on Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville.
Heads or tails, kick or receive, with the wind or against the wind. Buy your friend a Bud Light. Buy a stranger a Bud Light. Go to your team's bar. Go to the opposing team's bar. Buy around during the next truck commercial. Buy around during the next talking duck commercial. If you're truly up for whatever this weekend, grab the perfect beer for whatever happens. Crisp, refreshing Bud Light. Make two plans and let the NFL coin toss make the call. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
Barry McKnight here. John, as you saw, froze up. We'll get him in just a little bit back on with Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Here's how it looks, just to get it out there in terms of our conversation, and we'll talk in just a little bit with CJ Duncan. Hope to talk some basketball with you again, too. Please note How the Grinch Stole Christmas book back in the corner. I'm really proud of that one. Here's what it looks. Latest college football play. These are the last rankings until the bids go out, until the spots are awarded. Oregon right now, number 1. That hasn't changed. Texas is now number 2. They move up a spot after the Ohio State loss. Oregon, the only undefeated team in the country. Texas at 11-1. Penn State 3 at 11-1. They've got to play in the Big Ten title game against Oregon, but neither one of those are going to be out. Notre Dame 4, so they're in, but they won't get a first-round bye because they're not in a conference, and the first-round byes go to conference champions. Georgia is 5 at 10-2. regardless of what happens between Georgia and Texas, they're both in. Ohio State 6. Likewise, Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, they're all in. Tennessee 7. SMU 8. SMU's 11-1. They're number 8. We've already seen stuff on the chat line. Every SEC team will boat race SMU. No, you won't. You haven't seen SMU. Don't kid anybody out here. You haven't. SMU's number 8 at 11-1. If SMU wins, they're in, obviously. SMU, if they lose, I still think they're a lock. I still think they're in. But I don't think that impacts Alabama at all. SMU, they're right now the absolute poster child for what Lane Kiffin was talking about. If there wasn't a championship game that they have to play in, SMU's good. They're fine. But they got to play a championship game, and now they risk getting off and getting out. Indiana is number 9. Indiana's in trouble at 11-1. I think they should be, and we'll see. 11-1. Boise State is 10. Alabama 11. They move up ahead of Miami, who is number 12. So it looks as though there is one final spot left in the playoff for next week. And that one spot will either go to Alabama, Miami. Yeah, that's it. It's not going to be Ole Miss. It's not going to be South Carolina, who are at 13 and 14. That's where it stands right now. And I get caught up in recency bias, how things look lately. And I keep going back, Alabama does have some big wins, but I remember that bad loss to Oklahoma. So Alabama's in position right now. But if Clemson, who's rated number 17, the only way Clemson gets in is if they beat SMU. They're not going as an at-large. So SMU right now in the championship game in Charlotte, not too far away from Clemson, South Carolina. SMU's a 2.5-point favorite against Clemson. If SMU wins as a favorite, Alabama's in, right? That makes logical sense. If Clemson wins, then Clemson's in, SMU's in, Alabama's out. And I think that's the way I read it. I think that's correct. We'll see. Let's bring in John Longshore. Those are the top 12 right now. And the only mild surprise is that Miami at 10-2 with losses to Georgia Tech and Syracuse is judged to be one spot worse than Alabama, who's 9-3 with losses to Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, and Tennessee.
The big thing, and sorry about that, I had a little power surge here today. I think it's very cold out there, so everything got knocked off. But sorry about that. But here's my big issue. UNLV playing in the Mountain West Championship game against Boise State.
Yes.
If UNLV wins that game, they're going to be a top 4 seed.
Could be because the Big 12 20? Champion may not be higher ranked. The Big 12 will come down to Iowa State and Arizona State.
That was my next one. Number 15th ranked Arizona State taking on 16th ranked Iowa State. One of those teams could be a top 4 seed. SMU, you mentioned.
Yeah.
Who have they played? What's their resume look like? They could be a top 4 seed, as could be number 17th ranked Clemson. Now, if those teams I just mentioned jump from where they're right now positioned to a top 4 seed, we got to get that restructured. That's crazy. There are teams out there that have better resumes, passed the eye test, got the better brand. Oh, I know. Oh, yeah, this is what it's all about, to get a team like UNLV in the top 4. No. That ain't what the TV.
I wish I had a video.
First round bye, as I saw in the poll, Boise State at 4, SMU at 3. I mean, they are jumping on the buildings.
These are teams that John hadn't watched them. John hasn't had a video breakdown. He just sees their name. He just sees. I wish I had a video from, say, 4 years ago, when John was talking about this, and he was saying, "Group of 5, let me help you. I believe in you. I think this is a wonderful opportunity for you. You, as much as anybody, ought to be behind a 12-team playoff." Now it's like, this whole time, if SMU gets in after losing an ACC championship game to knock Alabama out, he'll never call them SMU again in his life. They'll be smooth for forever. He'll never forgive them for that.
I'm going to go as far as say I'm not sure a lot of the people on the playoff committee have seen Boise or SMU play this year. They probably get some highlight clips of them, and they go, "Hey, this is what they did this week." Or they watch college football final. Well, when we get back from our next break, our man CJ Duncan, Yellowhammer News, he's going to break it down for us. We're going to get what CJ thinks about last night's rankings and brackets and where it could go from there.
It's coming up with Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Enjoy all the food, drink, fun, and winning at Victoryland. An elevated entertainment value, the best overall casino experience, and the highest jackpot payouts makes Victoryland the place to be. Go to Victoryland.com to find out more about their incredible giveaways, daily promotions, and free play opportunities. 777 Casino, simulcast Thoroughbred, and Greyhound Racing are all within a short drive from anywhere in the Southeast. Victoryland, I-85, exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. At Victoryland, you can be a winner too.
Welcome to the holidays. They're officially here. Time for tradition, family gatherings, meals, and the annual scramble of searching for those last-minute gifts. Speaking of gifts, this season Budweiser's got your back. Head to the store right now and look for our Thanksgiving week specials. Why go all over town looking for that perfect gift when Budweiser takes care of everyone in one convenient ice-cold package? When you stock up on Budweiser with our Thanksgiving week specials, you'll have plenty to share with your friends and family. They'll all appreciate that Budweiser's brewed the hard way and has been for 140 years. We use the finest barley, malt, and hops grown in Idaho and Germany. We don't take any shortcuts when we're brewing. That's our tradition. So make the most of your holidays. Stop by your local store now for our Thanksgiving week specials. Grab enough Budweiser for yourself, your friends, and your family. It's a new holiday tradition everyone can enjoy together. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You know all about the 12 days of Christmas, but what about the 12 days of Dixie? We're giving away 12 of this year's hottest holiday gifts. Just go to facebook.com/Dixie Electric Plumbing Air and comment on the daily prize post using the hashtag 12 Days of Dixie, and you're automatically entered to win. The winner's name is posted on Facebook the following day with the opportunity to enter daily. The 12 Days of Dixie is going on right now.
Heads or tails, kick or receive, with the wind or against the wind. Buy your friend a Bud Light, buy a stranger a Bud Light. Go to your team's bar, go to the opposing team's bar. Buy a round during the next truck commercial, buy a round during the next talking duck commercial. If you're truly up for whatever this weekend, grab the perfect beer for whatever happens. Crisp, refreshing Bud Light. Make 2 plans and let the NFL coin toss make the call. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you're with us here today. About 27 minutes to the top of the hour. Get in on Victoryland's $125,000 December free play and cash giveaway. It starts this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Somebody's winning $13,000 at Victoryland. That's right, $13K given away on Friday, $13K given away on Saturday, and they're going to do it the remaining 3 weeks in December as well. So make sure you are a part of the $125,000 December free play and cash giveaway at Victoryland, exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too.
CJ Duncan joins us now from Yellowhammer. Great to have him as always. Former Vanderbilt and NFL player joining us here. How you doing, CJ?
John, Barry, it's good to be with y'all this morning.
Man, you look like you're cold today in the car, man. What's the temp in Nashville?
Well, you know what? I'm actually
Or
in
in Birmingham,
Washington,
excuse me.
D.C., and it is
Yeah.
absolutely freezing, but we're going to make it work.
Let's talk a little bit first of all about last week. The obviously the one we're talking about is Auburn versus Alabama. Did Alabama do enough in your mind after the debilitating loss to Oklahoma to buff up their resume for the playoff with the win over Auburn?
You know what? I thought this weekend happened exactly how it should. Alabama is the better team, and they played like the better team. I was just very glad to see rivalry weekend still in full effect. There was so much passion on the field. Although we don't like to see the fights and the pepper spray and all those type of things, it was good to see even in this NIL era where guys are still passionate about their universities and having a rivalry weekend. But I do think that Alabama shows just enough to where it makes you wonder, right? It's one of those things where they've had really bad games, but they also have had games where you say, hey, if Jalen plays like that, they can beat anybody in the country. And I think this weekend was another example of that. If he gets hot, if he catches a rhythm, it's going to be very hard to stop Milroe, Ryan Williams, and the rest of that offense.
CJ, I wonder if the committee, and I'm a little superstitious about, I've got my doubts about the TV executives kind of pushing their weight, but I think you hit on something. Jalen Milroe is good TV. People like seeing that. They like seeing him, break through the line of scrimmage and make a long touchdown run. I wonder how much that might possibly weigh in to kind of push him in if it gets down to the nitty gritty at the end.
I agree with you. And I thought if, I guess about 4 games back, if Colorado would have won out, they would have 100% been in for that exact reason, right? You've got Travis Hunter, you've got Shador Sanders. I thought they would have had that on their side as well. And I think Boise State is kind of using that as well to push them in. Ashton Genty, with him being a potential Heisman candidate, you can't have 3 or 4 guys up for the finals in New York and none of them are in the playoffs, right? So I think that will play a role in the teams that are kind of on the bubble of getting into the 12-team playoff.
CJ, handicap the Heisman race. Who do you like? Who do you think? Who's overrated or not?
You know what? I'm a Travis Hunter guy. And a lot of it is because I couldn't imagine playing both sides of the ball like he does. I mean, he is truly one in a million. He is a unicorn when it comes to that. I kind of agree with Coach Sanders as well with him not being on the Jim Thorpe. That's confusing to me. But I think it's his to lose. I think Genty has had a great season. But we've seen his kind of season before, right? And I think for the Heisman, you want a guy in there that has done something special. And this year, I think what is truly special is what Travis Hunter's done.
CJ, National Signing Day is today. Tell us about yours. What do you remember about it?
Oh man, what a special day! I was one of those guys that had already made my decision. I didn't flip any hats or try to trick out the crowd or anything like that. St. James took really good care of me, and they dressed up our gym all black and gold. It was a very special day. It was one that I had dreamt of since I was probably in middle school, and it was one I won't ever forget. But it was a day where it was hard to even go to class after having so many emotions like that early in the day. But it was very exciting, and I'm so happy that I went to St. James and they took care of me the way that they did.
I got to ask you about this, and this is a general as you want to make it. Is Auburn close, CJ?
Auburn's close. Auburn's close. Auburn's close. Auburn's close because they have the university. They have the tradition. And right now it feels like they're trying to develop some type of culture and foundation They just need a guy back there behind that's taking the snaps, that's the general of that offense that can help them move forward. And I think it's not going to take a year. It may take two. It's going to be hard to put all that on Deuce Knight or whoever the freshman may be. But, if you can kind of get in there and develop a guy, you really have a good shot of being a good ball club.
CJ, in your mind, who's the best college football team right now?
That's a great question, John. That is a great question. It is hard to say. I think what Texas did on the road against Texas A&M was very impressive. I like what they're starting to do with bringing Arch in as a runner, as a kind of an energy plug for that offense. I think the team kind of rallies around him. I can't wait to see him play next year full time. But like we talked about earlier, Alabama on the right day can beat anybody. I think Georgia on the right day can beat anybody. But also those teams have shown that they can dip way below their potential as well. So it's hard to say who the best is. I just think that it's pretty even across the board. We don't have a standout team per se. Even Oregon, who has, gone unblemished, I think even they have flaws as well. So it'll be interesting to see, especially that first round when there's a lot of folks who will have home field advantage in a playoff.
Could just top of my head, could Notre Dame win it? Do you like them at all? They're flawed too, I guess.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. I don't see them going very far. I'm not a huge Notre Dame guy. Quarterback, I still have questions about. They're a tough team, like their coach, but I don't think they're that team. And when you don't have a conference, you get to choose who you play and all those good things. It makes for an easy season.
I was a little surprised where they fell in the rankings last night with the committee. I mean, their resume, they ain't played anybody. Their schedule is one of the weakest I've seen out there. And, they got the loss to Northern Illinois, which doesn't seem to be affecting them very much. But I'm kind of with you. I think it's going to be real interesting to see Notre Dame in this playoff when they start going up against some tougher competition.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just don't see the competition level being where it needs to be. They're handling business, right? Since the Northern Illinois loss, they've done what they're supposed to do. You can only play who's on your schedule. But I don't trust them. Like I don't trust Penn State or whoever it is. I don't trust them, and maybe that's me being a homer, but I think that what the SEC programs have had to go through this year in a new season, kind of the inaugural season of the new conference, is what's going to prepare them for those tough games in the playoffs.
Outstanding stuff as always. We love your input, CJ, and appreciate it.
I can see the trees passing by you, so I know you're off to some very important high-level meeting there in the nation's capital. That's awesome.
Yes, you know what? We like to think they're all very important, but who knows? So we're here to do our job and think about our ratepayers here at Spire. So
appreciate you very much, CJ. Thanks as always for the time and insight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, buddy, we'll do it next week. That's CJ Duncan with Yellowhammer News joining us today in the car from the nation's capital. It's pretty cool, Barry. You could see the trees and the people walking down the sidewalk.
Yeah.
As someone was driving him to his meeting there in the nation's capital, and boy, it did look a little cold. He was dressed up. Woo,
yeah.
How you don't like that cold weather? Woo.
Oh my gosh. That's all we were talking about in that the Buffalo
the game the other night, San Francisco. Oh
my gosh. I could not broadcast it. I could not do that. Ward Manuel said this. We were talking about this leading off the last break. And yes, John, appreciate you letting me know that I should watch what he had to say. I did. He's the College Football Playoff Committee chair. He's the AD at Michigan. Alabama now has the inside track to a playoff berth at 9-3. Ward Manuel says, quote, what it really came down to is Alabama is 3-1 against top 25 teams. Miami is 0-1. Alabama is 6-1 against teams over 500. Miami is 4-2. That's what it comes down to, in a very, very fine difference there. But Alabama has lost to two teams that are 500. I don't know what Miami's record. If SMU beats Clemson in the ACC championship game, then Alabama's in. Miami's not getting in, no matter what happens, it looks like. Either way, the Hurricanes, they're on their way out. If Clemson wins, then the committee's going to have to decide between SMU and Alabama. Right? And for SMU, that's unfair as heck, because if they didn't have to play a conference championship game, they're in. They sit there right now and start making their plans and printing everything. So
that's where I'm a little confused on this, Barry, because we're hearing so much about the value of just getting into your conference championship game. Does that only apply to the Big Ten and the SEC? I'm just asking. I wonder, is the value not there for the Big 12, for the ACC, the Mountain West, whomever else is got a shot? You kind of got to wonder. It's kind of like what I talked about earlier in this week about this scenario where there's play-in games in the Big 12, the Big 10 and the SEC to get more of those conferences schools in the playoff, particularly when they expand it in 2 years. I'm going both ways here, and I hate to do that because I do believe SMU's got to beat Clemson for Alabama to have the clearest path. But after listening to Ward Manuel and some of these other people take questions last night and have some discussion on it, it's almost like they've already set the precedent for Alabama. Well, you see the teams that are behind them. Miami's behind them. Ole Miss, South Carolina. They're not jumping them. There's no more data points to use for those teams to be able to vault over Alabama. So where Alabama's positioned today, are they still going to get in no matter what happens? To me, I'm hearing that they can.
Yeah.
But to me, you got to have a better, your best path is for that SMU victory. And as Travis Ryer said yesterday, and I saw some tape on it as well, I wanted to see for myself. Yeah, I mean, that Clemson front seven, whoo, SMU better get strong quick.
Pretty sturdy. Yeah, I'm a big believer in SMU. I've seen them play 3 games. They've got a quarterback named Jennings who is dynamic. So we'll see. I do think what you're saying, you're exactly right. But what it seems like, the committee's job, John, is every week start all over again. Don't presuppose what happened a week ago. Don't build upon what you came up with last week. Every week you start from scratch, do it all over again. Okay, who do we like now? Who's playing well now? Who's not playing well now? Forget last week. And what you're talking about, Ward Manuel saying, sounds like they ain't starting from scratch now. They're in the last one, they're saying, okay, now that the rubber is hitting the road here, all right. We don't have to start all over again on this. We got to have that team. We got to have this team. That team is in. So he's basically admitting that when that's not supposed to be how they come up with their seedings and their picks.
Now, a couple of things I wonder about, and I've wondered about this on the air, and Coach threw something out there today. It kind of reminds my sister's boyfriend's girlfriend's brother who passed out at 31 flavors last night.
Can I read this from Coach?
I think Coach's friend, I think, was at a poker table with Vinny, Leo, Moose, and Rocco, and this is what he heard.
Moose and Rocco were there. They weren't playing. They were just trying to help him find his checkbook. Coach said this, longshore@mcknight@gmail.com. I loved it. He says, hey, guys, talked to a buddy of mine who's a professional poker player in Vegas. Bama is in the CFP. A ton of money on Bama to be in. That is from Coach. I love stuff like that. Love it.
Again, I've said
now,
it many,
is he
many
a good
times.
poker player? Is he just is he a guy? Does a professional poker player in Vegas, does that count as an inside source into the college football playoff? I'm just asking the question.
There's a lot of talk at poker rooms around Vegas. The late, great Richard Clamian was a professional poker player who was on this program with us for many, many years.
He was great.
And I've said it forever. how does Vegas know the starting quarterback is out before anybody else does? I can't put my finger on it. I don't know. It's one of the mysteries of the world. It's like the Kennedy assassination. Nobody really knows. So is there a lot of money on Bama? Yeah, it could be. And we talked about those numbers had flipped from Alabama being a dog to a favorite. They went from plus 100 to minus 186. So somebody thinks they're getting in. I don't know. I don't know about Vegas, but I do think it's interesting of what we heard last night from the committee and the committee chair. And I also wonder about this, Bear. I've always been a little suspicious. These teams that make the playoff, do you think they know at the same time the general public does when they reveal it on Sunday?
I know for a fact they
maybe
go ahead.
Or a couple of days earlier, they're going, don't be telling anybody, but y'all might need to be preparing for a little trip to wherever.
Well, if they're smart, they're preparing for it anyway. Yeah. I do wonder.
I'm talking about you got to get your travel plans together.
Yeah. So all that's there. And John, I did see Ward Manuel. I saw that. I understand. We just quoted that. I got it. So Alabama right now.
You talking about me, John? Oh, John.
No, I'm sorry, John. He just emailed us as well with that. He is all over Ward Manuel explaining why. I did well just a moment ago. I get that. I get the wins. What I don't get is the losses. I mean, that's a great win over Georgia. That's a very solid win over LSU and South Carolina, and a big time solid win over Missouri. I don't get the loss to Vanderbilt. I don't get the losses must not count as much as the wins do.
I don't know that, Barry, but I'm feeling it because all I'm hearing about is, 3, 4 top 25 wins. I think there were 4 top 25 wins, but based on the latest poll, there are 3 that are in the top 25 that Alabama beat. So I think they're putting a lot of weight on that. Just strength of schedule and I don't know, margin of win. I don't know. I think that the wins over top 25 teams is what's getting them in the conversation.
Yeah, I do too. But again, it's the losses. Miami, their losses against Syracuse and Georgia Tech were not good. Man, they had that Syracuse game won and choked it away. I would. And again, I used to think that recency was a part of it. What have you done lately? Well, they were obviously they're better than Auburn. Danny is focusing on Auburn. Yeah, I get that, Danny. But obviously they're better. And they had to have, they had to win that game. But I thought that the committee would take into account, man, that Oklahoma thing. Goodness gracious.
I'm with you. I mean, that bruise is still there. I mean, you can put all the makeup on it you want, but that bruise is still there. It is not healed up. And I thought it was interesting, Barry, what Stephen M. Smith said earlier today when I asked him, do you think Alabama's good enough to make the playoff? He doesn't think so either.
He said no. Again, John Dent says, Barry, you have to take your mindset out of old school thought process of wins and losses. What does that even mean? Wins and losses. Are you saying wins and losses don't matter or shouldn't matter?
I think maybe
what you do, they're subjective. I understand that.
Yeah.
But wins and losses, what you do on the field is not a factor, John? Is that what you're saying?
I wonder, did Vanderbilt finish 7-5 or 6-6?
I think they're 6-6. I'll double check here.
All right.
Yeah.
If Vanderbilt was 3-9 and beat Alabama, would that have hurt Alabama? I wonder if that has any factor in it that, at least they were 500.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. Vanderbilt did finish 6-6. They lose to Tennessee. Oklahoma finished 6-6. They lost bad to LSU. So,
and I'm with you. That Oklahoma loss is terrible. I mean, we're not having this conversation if Alabama could have gone to Norman and won. It'd be moot. Be done. They'd probably be in the 8 or 9 hole today.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think
you got me on the win. Get out of the thinking of wins and losses, John Dent. You got me on that one.
I can't. There again, the only thing I can say is that top 25 wins seem to be more important. Now, as we ask CJ, and there again, it doesn't seem like it should go into the equation, and I don't think it would publicly ever be stated by the committee, but people know who Jalen Milroe is. Jalen Milroe is a guy that the casual college football fan go, man, I know that guy. Yeah, I've seen him for the last 2 years. This guy's pretty good. I want to watch him tonight. I guess maybe it shouldn't go into it, but
it's a human thing. And I've always lobbied for the human aspect of getting teams selected rather than computers and da-da-da. I'm all about the human aspect of it, and that's part of it. That's the human thing. Man, I'd like to see Jalen Milroe, or I'd like to see what he does against Oregon or something like that. I do understand that.
But how about this, Barry? Would you be suspicious? I mean, is it just kind of, wow, that's coincidental? How'd that happen?
Okay.
If this final ranking comes out Sunday and Alabama is in and they are going to South Bend to play,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's make sure we put these two teams together.
Right.
Now, I got to tell you, me, I think that would be awesome. I just, I couldn't wait for toe to hit leather for those two to meet. Because like CJ said, I agree. I'm not sure Notre Dame's all they're cracked up to be. And we all know the warts Alabama has. So it should be a pretty good game.
Yeah. John Dent, I'm sorry, man. I'm not getting you. He said NFL teams at 8-8 are in the playoffs, Barry. What?
Well, it's a totally different structure.
You're going to have to start, I guess, because I'm totally not understanding what you're even trying to say. You might have to start all over again with me. Let's take a break right here. Coming back, we'll start off our next live hour. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. In conjunction with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316. Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry is an Alabama-based, family-owned and operated business that specializes in dry cleaning and laundry serving the River region since 1941. There are 12 convenient locations across the River region. Find one close to you or call 481-1911 for free pickup and delivery. For 83 years, Central Alabama has trusted Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry. You should too.
Happy holidays for Marguerite's, and every year we do an unbelievable $99 Christmas special, and it's got to be 14 karat white or yellow gold, and it's got to be high quality Marguerite's diamonds. Well, this year it's the best one ever. It's individual 14 karat letters that we've cut out and added a 7-point diamond to on a 14 karat necklace. Impossible. That's right. All the initial diamond necklaces, $99 at Marguerite's till Christmas.
Hey, this is Barry McKnight from Longshore and McKnight, telling you about our friends at River Region Straw. You're not buying sticks or stems and pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River region, full of color, that'll last all season long. They've got locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small. From a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load, River Region Straw also has seasoned firewood for the cold days and nights ahead. Pickup is available, and your order can be delivered if you like. They can even spread your pine straw if that's what you want to have happen, for sure. Call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw and firewood needs at River Region Straw.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Getting close to the top of the next hour here on Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Very, very excited to announce today. Not only can you check us out as you normally do on YouTube, but if you go to the Yellowhammer News Facebook page, you'll see our program broadcast there as well. I'm looking at it as we speak.
Yep,
It's
me too.
broadcasting live each and every morning on Facebook, on the Yellowhammer News Facebook page.
Yep, I'll try to remember to post it every morning whenever we get the opportunity. As we start our second live hour here, there's so many things to talk about. We've been focusing on football and the upcoming college football playoff. There's basketball tonight. Alabama and North Carolina from Chapel Hill, 6:15 on ESPN. Carolina, a 1.5 favorite. Followed right after that on ESPN with Auburn, who is 7-0, against Duke, who is 5-2. Auburn is 7-0, playing in Cameron Indoor Stadium. Brian Matthews told us yesterday it's actually the second time they've ever played there. I think Charles Barkley's freshman year. Duke is a 2.5 favorite. So Carolina and Duke are both favored at home against the SEC, who is kicking butt and taking names in the ACC-SEC Challenge. Last I checked, the SEC was 5-1 or 6-1.
Yeah. I didn't realize, Barry, there again, I think I've been, thinking Iron Bowl and college football playoff and whatnot. I just happened to look up after the poll was revealed last night, and Tennessee was playing Syracuse. And
yes.
Wow, they starting this thing tonight, so it's a 2-night event. And you're right, some good games. Tennessee beat Syracuse 96-70, and Clemson beat Kentucky 70-66 in two of the games. Oklahoma beat Georgia Tech 76-61. Texas A&M beat Wake 57-44. Ole Miss beat Louisville 86-63.
By 23. And
man,
the only, John mentioned this, the only loss so far was Kentucky losing to Clemson, and Kentucky was top 5 in the country. So, yeah, it's been a great year. But also National Signing Day is going on. There are probably better sources than us to keep track of it all, because my heart, I know Troy got his quarterback, Jack James, out of Paducah, Kentucky, as a matter of fact.
Awesome.
Yeah, can't
Great
keep
spot.
Paducah down.
No, you can't.
So we'll keep you updated on all of those.
I see LSU beat Florida State as well last night. So there were a lot of games last night in the SEC ACC Challenge. That leads me to believe there are not many tonight.
Well,
that the bulk of them were last night. We all obviously North Carolina hosting Bama, Duke hosting Auburn. And I'm just kind of taking a scan.
Well, you got Florida. The Gators are 8-0. They're taking on Virginia tonight on ESPN2. Number 18, Pittsburgh, is at Mississippi State. Reckon we'll get a recap of that game from Bart Heisch tomorrow, John?
I would think so. You're right. I appreciate you bringing that up, Barry. Bart Heisch, our resident college basketball expert, he played at Mississippi State, part of their Final Four team, will join us throughout the basketball season. He'll make his debut. Well, he's been on with us before, but not on this platform tomorrow. So looking forward to recapping this and getting a little taste of what Mississippi State's got to offer.
Texas is at North Carolina State tonight. That's the second game on the doubleheader on the Deuce. And Vanderbilt is at Virginia Tech on the ACC network. Virginia Tech's pretty bad. That game's in Blacksburg.
Barry, I got to say this, and I was kind of critical in years prior when we had this SEC challenge, because it was with the Big 12 for many, many years. And every year, Kansas and Kentucky would play. And I'm thinking, whoa. How come they're playing each other every year?
It'd be Auburn, Oklahoma State, or...
Sure, Bama playing, Iowa State or something. I'm thinking, don't give me that. So I thought it was interesting that Kentucky not only was playing Clemson, but playing them on the road. Thought,
that is good.
Somebody's listening.
Good. Yeah, and Clemson won that game.
You got to think. I'm thinking, well, Kentucky's going to either play Duke or North Carolina, and they play in Clemson.
Yeah. Like it. Yeah. By the way, Kirk, I think every time we've thought about it, we've answered the question. Just be patient about the phone calls. I mean, I know you've asked, and I thought we've answered every time. Phone calls are the equipment for phone calls is expensive. I mean, it's it ain't like, hey, let's just put a phone in here. It's.
Can you not tell us on the chat line what you want to talk about?
I mean, I like this format. In this format, I'm not sure many types of shows in this format take phone calls.
Barry, nothing. There again, to each his own. Baskin Robbins has 31 flavors. Everybody's doing how they want to do it. But you're right.
There's not many.
Medium today is very non-caller. That's just the way that you think about it.
Right.
I can only think of one sports program that is dominated by phone calls, and why people find that entertaining, I have no idea. I mean, it is just, I can't tell you the last time I've listened to that program. I like the host a lot. I've known him my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
But why in the world I want to hear the same knuckleheads screaming and yelling and going at it between the two or a couple of callers going at it together on the air? I don't find that entertaining, nor do I find it informative.
Now, we love your input. We've given you a lot. And
to me, the SEC ought to be embarrassed that they've got a platform to let people act like that.
It seems like there's a different tone from some of those callers, where 2 weeks ago, when Alabama lost by 3 touchdowns to Oklahoma, guys, including somebody who I've full disclosure, I've never heard, Legend calls and he says that Kalen DeBoer should be fired because he told a story. I think it was about an aunt that he had that had been married 8 times.
Ooh.
She said she had so many husbands because you can't fix stupid, but you can divorce it. I'd never been so embarrassed in all my life. Bama's out of the playoff chase, and now all of a sudden, I was just wondering about their legitimacy. We were openly talking about it yesterday, and it's Barner McKnight. If Auburn was doing it, all this other kind of crazy jazz. This format is not as well suited as I guess a radio format is to callers, but we absolutely love and do our best to get your input.
Oh, sure. Love the chat.
The chat line is wonderful. You got guys like Bill from Baltimore. He says, I love no phone calls. Means I don't have to hear Shadow, Danny, Bob. I can just ignore them in the chat.
Look, let me tell you who has really picked up on the chat, folks. Look, my man Dennis Mitchell and Robbie from Greenville are all over the chat. They're asking their wrestling questions. Robbie's giving us the high school playoff roundup as well as what's going on in college and why he thinks Alabama should get into the playoff. It's not that difficult. I mean, those guys have figured it out. Chris the Bammer, he's going to hit us with spin the wheel about 4 times
Philip
a
Marshall,
day.
Philip Marshall.
Bill from Baltimore, Danny from Margaritaville with a zinger here and there. Kirk from the West Coast. Love that guy. John, I know he's been active today on the and then my man Curtis. I mean, Curtis is getting there as well. So, I mean, we love it. And I don't want to miss it. Mark, who won our Dreamland Pick 3 this week. I hope you get your card by the end of the week. Barry, I don't know if it's just you, but sometimes I don't get my mail. I mean, some days I get it, some days I don't. I'm just thinking, does the mail carrier go, I'm done. I'm out. I'll double up tomorrow.
I've heard that. I've heard from some of John's neighbors who say, where's my newspaper?
Yeah.
What's that,
I think it was Monday. Monday, my mail came, no kidding. I'm taking the trash out, and it's like 8:00 at night. Here comes the mailman. I'm thinking, man, it's a little late for the mail. I didn't even get it yesterday. Didn't even get it. And what really irks me is if one of my boys parks their vehicle anywhere close to the mailbox where they can't pull up and just zip it into the box, they ain't getting out of the mail truck. They ain't going to do it.
No.
It's like, I'll put it in there tomorrow. I ain't doing it while that car's parked near that mailbox.
I know for a fact John doesn't get his gold sheet in the mail anymore.
That
He
comes on
doesn't.
the internet.
He doesn't have to get the pick sheet from his man. Do you even get mail? I tell you what I get. I get a bank statement, which I can't figure out how not to get a bank statement because I get that online.
Yeah.
I get stuff. I get election campaign stuff.
I get more crap flyers. I get all these flyers and stuff that I don't want to throw them immediately in the trash can. Don't even look at them. It's ridiculous. But I do still kind of like going to the mailbox and see what came today. I'm expecting that. I'm looking to see if Ed McMahon sent me that check or something, but still has never happened.
Well, he's dead
Publisher,
now. So
Publishers Clearinghouse or what? Who? Now that Ed's dead, who does that now? Is it
probably Ryan Seacrest?
It's either him or the guy that does Family Feud now.
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey. I think Steve Harvey is the Publishers Clearing. He took over for Ed McMahon.
No.
And people, I know our younger viewers are going, who the hell's Ed McMahon? Look it up. Ed was everywhere. Love that guy. He was Johnny Carson's sidekick. But I don't know what it is about the mail. That does, does they just bring it when they want to? I don't know. But I will say this, Barry, you mentioned the gold sheet. Back when I was a younger Phantom, I was waiting on that gold sheet. And that's before the internet. That's before we, get the information the way we get it today. So it did come in the mail in a gold envelope. I mean, it was like the golden ticket to the Wonka factory.
I get it. But that is like a red flag to everybody else in your neighborhood. If it's just a white envelope, I know some people who get stuff and they insist on having it in a plain brown wrapper.
Well,
but if it's a gold envelope and everybody's, hey, look, I think Longshore just got his gold sheet. See it, gold envelope just went in there.
Did send Playboy in the mail. It was in a kind of a black wrapper. So we knew, and we got our sent straight to Tuscaloosa. Back when I started my subscription. So we knew when that was coming. It was usually about the 3rd, 4th of the month when we got it. Anyway, so the gold sheet would come in the mail, and it would always come around Thursday because they printed it, and it was done in Los Angeles. So it had to come all the way across country. They put it together Sunday night, Monday morning, put it in the mail by Monday afternoon. So you were hoping to get it by Thursday. Barry, if it was a holiday on a Monday, Veterans Day, Labor Day, whatever Monday holiday during the football season, you were frantic because it might not show up till Friday. And you're hoping it gets there on Friday. And you're trying to get it all together before kickoff on Saturday morning, just cramming with the gold sheet. Oh, those were some tough days. The internet definitely helped out gold sheet readers because you get it on, today. It'll be in my inbox today.
A little late in the week to get your gold sheet, right? Thursday? Well, back in the day, you didn't have Thursday games.
No, you didn't. You're right. And the gold sheet was made, the paper that the gold sheet came on was gold. It had this, yellowish gold tint. It kind of felt more important and thicker and, like it was really something. I was amazed how they got all that information on that little fold out thing that they'd send you. Now, those were the days. That was not the only fold out that I liked getting once in the mail.
I got you. Now, John Dent says, chants are fine till Barry pretends he doesn't understand. Put Auburn or Troy in UA's CFP position, and I'm sure his lack of understanding would be gone like a win. Well, you lost me on the Barry. You need to get out of the old school mindset of wins and losses. Explain that, and then you came back and said the NFL has 8-8 teams. What does that got to do with anything? Tell them wins and losses aren't a thing, John. That's what. And the thing about Auburn or Troy, come on, man, come on. I'm not against Alabama in this thing. I'm surprised because they look terrible against Oklahoma and admit it. A lot of you Bama fans, you guys thought, if you're honest with yourself, that you were done, that you were out, that you needed to just get rid of everybody and go. Now, all of a sudden, I'm saying, wow, that's interesting. I'm surprised that they're back in it. And it's like, oh, Barry's anti-Alabama because he's all Auburn. All Auburn? Really? John,
really?
that's I've already commented about that too much. Give me a break.
I'm with you there. I think after the Oklahoma game, the Alabama fans thought their playoff chances were done, and they got a little help over the weekend. I mean, Miami losing at Syracuse, I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Yeah,
that was big for them. And then last night, they've kind of gotten back in the conversation. I'm still saying I wouldn't pack my bag yet. I think that this weekend you need to kind of see what shakes out there. If Clemson beats SMU, do you still feel confident Sunday you're going to hear your name? I don't know. I mean, last night I think it gives Bama fan a little more hope hearing what they heard after the brackets were released, after the poll was released. It does kind of seem like Alabama's in a really good spot right now, but I'd wait till it's official.
Yes. Yeah. It hadn't happened yet. Bob from Pike Road early on said, we're in, all caps. I don't think so. I will go ahead and prepare you for this, John, the chatter.
Yeah.
And Danny and all you people. I will tell you this, and you might be prepared for this, and you can go back with your same old stuff about it, and that's fine. I'm just going to let you know. If SMU loses to Clemson, and it doesn't have anything to do with Alabama, if SMU loses to Clemson and SMU is not in the college football playoff, I will be displeased. I think that would be unfair. If that means Alabama's in, so be it. I think, again, like everybody does, John and me, if Clemson beats SMU, Alabama's chances are bad. If SMU beats Clemson, I think Alabama's chances are good. But in and of itself, if SMU loses and SMU is totally out of the college football playoff, that's going to be difficult. That's going to be difficult for me to understand. Doesn't have a thing to do with Alabama, but my gosh, at 11-2, and the only reason why they're out of the playoff is because they're forced to play a conference championship game.
I get
that's
it.
Not fair.
I see what you're saying, but I think you'll hear, if that happens, I think you'll hear things like, who have they beaten? Strength of schedule. They got beat at home by BYU. Didn't play anybody else. I think I saw where their strength of schedule was 77 or something like that. That's what you'll hear. Now, there again, hate it for SMU, but that's really not who I want to see in the playoff. I want to see who the best teams are. There again, I'm not sure Alabama's one of them, one of the top 12, but I'm not sure SMU is either. But yeah, you're going to have some kicking and screaming and, Bama so I thought of it this way. It's kind of like Duke in the NCAA basketball tournament. Seemed like Duke always got a great draw, always got a way in. Didn't really
Duke
matter.
bias.
Duke's always in. Is that what we're getting with Alabama football?
I understand. And again, it's not supposed to be that way. You're not supposed to be thinking about matchups. You're supposed to be thinking about resume, wins and losses. I can't fathom anybody who says you got to get out of the mindset of wins and losses. That seems like that would be an important thing. Who's hot, who's not, I think those things are important. And again, they're supposed to build their picks every week, start from scratch. Okay, let's start all over again. What have they done? What have they done? What have they done? And Ward Manuel yesterday, basically, he said, there is a scenario that if SMU doesn't win, that they're totally out of the playoff.
So the door's open. There's a crack in it.
Yes.
I think that's very important.
Yeah,
when I heard that too, I went, very important.
Just think about this. Think about what John says. Bama fans, you're not in yet.
Not yet.
All
and
right.
I think it's interesting. There again, I know we're going to get into it. It might be a topic on the Victorland 777 topic wheel today about what happens if they don't get in. Stephen M. Smith, who joined us earlier, we talked a little about transfers. We're already hearing some rumblings about that. I mean, Barry, if you know a kid, with the two of them have already said they're transferring. Rumors and rumblings about others. transferring as well. Wide receiver who's not getting any looks. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. If you're hearing that, if there's rumblings, you got to know there's rumblings around the football complex as well. Can you count on guys like that if you do make it to the playoff? Are those the guys you're counting on?
You got 4th and goal defensively, and you got to hold them out of the end zone to win. This guy's going to be in the middle of your defensive line, and you're counting on him to hold that line or is he thinking, man?
Or is it kind of like the NFL mentality? I know I'm getting traded when this season's over, but I'm going to bust my tail so I can get my best offer for whatever team's going to pick me up. Or maybe that's the thought process.
Or maybe the thought process, man, I got to protect my brand. I got to make sure that I don't get a late season injury that could hurt my draft status. Let me just try to trip this guy. Let's take a break. It's 19 minutes into our second live hour. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. Presented in part with conjunction from Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Shopping for a budget-friendly, reliable used car or a stunning new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram in Prattville is a process that should always start with your team of professionals on your side. Thanks to years of experience helping others in the local community enjoy premium service, low prices, and access to a wealth of amazing new and used cars, it is safe to say that Stivers Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram is the name to beat in Prattville. But don't just take my word for it. Experience the Stivers difference for yourself. Prices that will not be beat, a huge inventory, and knowledgeable, helpful sales associates. See why so many happy car and truck buyers shop at Stivers CDJR, where Price sells cars and trucks. Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market offers the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of Mexico with deliveries daily. Snapper, grouper, pompano, flounder, copia, along with medium, large, and jumbo shrimp, hand-picked crab meat, and chucked oysters. They can even cook your order for easy, quick pickup. The Destin Connection can make a po' boy with any of their seafood items that folks in New Orleans rave about. Go by and see them at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call 288-4272 for pickup orders.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. About 22 minutes past the hour on this Wednesday. Cold out there. Barry, very excited, as we have been telling you for weeks now, our association with Yellowhammer News. You can check out a little write-up each and every afternoon about today's program with some video content as well. And also, you can view this program live each and every day on the Yellowhammer News Facebook page. You can also check us out at Longshore and McKnight on our Facebook page as well. X, Instagram, Spotify, all over the place. If you can't watch us live, it is replaying all day long, so you can watch and listen at your convenience.
We've got the Victoryland 777 topic wheel here, which, there's plenty of topics. Huge basketball tonight. Go ahead and let you know. Again, as John pointed out, Bart Heisch, our resident Longshore and McKnight basketball insider, will be in tomorrow, and we're going to talk Duke, North Carolina, the two opponents for Auburn and Alabama tonight, and how that game goes as we really get into the round ball. So we'll get the Victoryland 777 topic wheel going. And again, if Alabama, I'm just surprised that Alabama is in at 11. Not shocked, not absolutely just shell shocked or anything, but I just, again, I remember how they lost to Oklahoma, and a lot of you people said that they're done, they're out. Well, yeah, I did too.
I thought so too.
Still a lot to be going on.
We'll see. I think it's going to be an interesting conversation up until Sunday, and I'm sure Monday and next week we're going to be talking a lot about it as well, because there's a lot of factors, a lot of variations that could happen. I've been saying it, kind of teasing, if Bama does not make the college football playoff, do they care about going to a bowl game? Really? I mean, here you are, you're on the verge of the playoff. You're feeling it. You can taste it a little bit. Ooh, I think we might be getting in. He's kind of lining up that I think if I'm a Bama fan, I'm kind of getting excited about it. And if they snatch the rug out from under you on Sunday and you're going to the real ReliaQuest Bowl, do you really care? Do the players care? I mean, I know it sounds crazy for me to say that, but I've been saying it for years now. But now I think it's even more relevant. Do they really care? I think you're going to see opt-outs. You're going to see some transfers. Look, this isn't going to be Bama, Kansas State with Bryce Young and Will Anderson. That ain't going to happen.
No, not under, who they had such a culture under Saban. And don't just go down the roster and look at the seniors. There's some draft eligible guys that would get out as well. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but an example would be somebody like Tyler Booker, who's a junior, but I do believe this is his last year. I believe he goes to the NFL next year. If I'm looking at an NFL career and I'm Tyler Booker, I would be sorely tempted to just say, I'll say something nice about ReliaQuest, but I ain't playing in a bowl game. I ain't playing in their game. I'm not doing that. So watch out. Do we have the Victoryland wheel ready? I'm ready to spin. Let's get going.
I think our Victoryland 777 topic wheel. Chris the Bammer has been anticipating the topic wheel today. I'm not sure how many topics we have on it, but hey, doesn't matter. We can certainly go at it. I think it's locked and loaded, greased up with some 3-in-1 oil, and Gurn, put it on the screen and let's spin the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. What will come up first? Oh, the excitement. Oh, how it has changed.
Okay.
How
could be
changed?
Anything.
It could be
popular music, national politics.
Yep.
What specifically are we?
We don't want to age ourselves here, Barry, but 30 plus years ago, when we kind of started getting into all this kind of stuff, if you wanted to know about recruiting before National Signing Day, you had to call a sports talk radio show. Or you had to call the radio station throughout the day. What do you hear? What do you know? Who's visiting where? What's going on? What's happening here?
Which is how I think Forrest Davis got started. I've told the story before. One of my great blessings in this career, which has gone 37 years now, is when I got started, I learned under some really great radio people, Paul Ellen and Bill Cameron and a ton of those people. I'll never forget, Bill Cameron hired me when I first moved to Auburn to go to school. And I remember Bill, he would be back and he would be on the phone when he wasn't on the air. He would be on the phone all the time back in his office. and he'd have notes and folders and notebooks and all of that, and everything was handwritten and I mean it looked like the Library of Congress. It looked like back behind me here. And I know what are you doing there? And that's how, and I mean, he knew it. He still knows it. Bill Cameron is
sure, loves it.
Now you don't have to do that though.
There was Jeff Whitaker,
Forrest Davis,
1-900 number. There was a guy out in Texas,
Jeff somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't. We'd have these guys on. We'd have these recruiting gurus on, the Forrest Davis, the Jeff Whitaker,
Tom Culpepper.
John
once sat next to Tom Culpepper in a media bus at the Orange Bowl.
Max Emfinger.
Max Emfinger.
I knew I couldn't think of that guy's name. Yeah. And they'd call up. They'd give us the lowdown. People would call in, ask about a recruit. Then they started monetizing it by going, hey, you got to call my 900 number for all the scoop.
And so you'd call the 900 number, which is about $3 a minute, and Max Emfinger would come on and say, welcome to today's recruiting.
He'd go, line 1 is Tennessee. Line 2 is Alabama. Line 3 is Auburn. They charge you. Now you got to make sure you're dialing the right 900 number back in the day, because some of those
other ones are really expensive.
No kidding.
Anyway,
so you'd have those guys.
Has changed.
That's how you'd find. I mean, my favorite was who's visiting this weekend. You have to come up with a visit list and present it to your audience.
Well,
so it was different. And then signing day was different because it was the first Wednesday in February. That was the only day you did it. So the whole month of January was all about recruiting. I remember
the whole month of December. I mean, people were losing their minds during the holiday.
My brother would, when I was younger, he'd be out in the driveway. I guess that's where I got it from, listening to what's the station? WLAC in Nashville.
Yeah,
because they were so strong at night, and Bill King was this huge recruiting guy, and people would sit out in the driveway, listen to what Bill King had to say about.
He had a guy with him. He's no longer with us. Been gone for a while. Named Bob Bell.
Yes,
and Bob was in charge of getting you into the commercial breaks, getting you out of the commercial breaks, and you talk about Ed McMahon. Bob Bell was Bill King's Ed McMahon. God rest his soul. He was a good one.
He was a good one. I got the feeling that Bob
has changed.
Wolfed down a lot of cigarettes while Bill was giving all the recruiting scoop, because it would go on. It would last 2 or 3 hours.
And that's the funny thing also about how things have changed. Back to that real quick is unless you did have the magazine like the Forrest Davises or the Max Emfingers or the Jeff, whoever he was, I can't think of his name, except for those guys, the guys otherwise, they didn't have any accountability. Yeah. Months later, you could say, wait a minute, you said this guy was an absolute lock. No, I didn't. I guess I heard wrong. Now, on the internet, you can look back. You can say, yes, you did. On July 23rd, you posted at 5:32 p.m. that this guy was going to visit, and he never did. Oh, so it is a little bit more accountability.
And of course, back in the day, there was a group that made up a fictitious 5-star that ended up on somebody's top 10 list.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a different day and age, and it was all, radio was kind of how you found it all out. And but now it's internet.
Listen. Longshore says Danny Noonan from Bushwood High School, a kicker. He's going to be visiting this weekend. Yeah.
And I remember, we had some producers back then that just loved those magazines. The late great LaRue, he loved those magazines, and he was like 15. I go, man, these guys, recruiting doesn't mean a thing. And he just freaked out. What do you mean it doesn't mean a thing? He would always want all of our magazines that we got from Emfinger and Super Prep and all that.
Save them for years.
Oh, you better believe it. So times have changed when it comes to signing day. And here it is today. Is it a big deal? I mean, I guess we're going to see stuff throughout the day. I know Luganville's doing a lot of stuff on ESPN. I just think people now, Barry, they kind of know what their class is going to look like. They're just hoping and having their fingers crossed somebody doesn't jump ship on them.
Well, and this is, and again, it's I wouldn't be involved in it at all these days. Much respect to those guys, because we were hearing from Stephen M. Smith about this guy at Alabama who this commit for Alabama, who Michigan's making a big play on. And you know why they're making a big play on him? Because this multi-billionaire guy and his multi-billionaire girlfriend have contributed millions and millions and millions of dollars of late to Michigan's NIL collective. They are throwing money around at Michigan like it was water.
So, Barry, how do they?
They'll talk about, well, I bleed maize and blue, and no. They're taking the money, which
sure they are. There's no doubt about it. There's no loyalty. They don't care about the color of the jersey. It's where's my money? How soon am I going to play? And how quick can I get to the league?
To the NFL.
But I did see that, Senator Ted Cruz has cranked it back up again. I hope they get something done now with having some guardrails and some guidelines and a rule book, if you will, that everybody's got to abide by, because there's no doubt about it. Teams cannot compete. The majority of the teams out there, the Auburns and the Alabamas, they cannot compete with what's going on at Michigan or in Texas or in California. There's just not enough money to go around. There's not enough well-heeled guys that are willing to just throw millions around like it's no big deal. So you got to be able to structure it. I mean, the NFL figured it out. I mean, years ago, things were kind of out of whack. They got a collective bargaining agreement together. Salary cap, the parity thing. I mean, the NFL, to me, there's so much parity in it. Yeah, Kansas City by far, Baltimore is really, really good. But, I mean, you think about it, there's a lot of teams in the NFL with the same kind of records, and that's what they want. They love having everybody close or as close as they can get them, and I kind of
think fans are still tuning in and attending because their team still has a chance at the playoff.
And these college football fans think, if we don't go undefeated, we've had a crappy year. Those days are over. I mean, you're going to have losses. It's going to be rare. More times than not, you're going to have multiple losses than you are undefeated seasons.
There is one undefeated team in college football. One. In the past, there would be 7, 8, something like that. So there's that. We'll get back to the topic wheel in just a moment after we take this time out. In conjunction with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Book tee time sooner. Save on every round. That's what you get with the 2025 RTJ Trail Card. Destination golf is closer than you might think. Buy a 2025 Trail Card and save every time you play. Plus, you will be automatically entered into the Trails Loyalty Program. Enjoy 10-day advance reservation privileges at each location. 11-day advanced internet tee times on rtjgolf.com and the RTJ app. Enjoy the benefits of a 2025 Trail Card. It makes for a great stocking stuffer, and you save on every round you play in 2025 on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail.
Welcome to the holidays. They're officially here. Time for tradition, family gatherings, meals, and the annual scramble of searching for those last-minute gifts. Speaking of gifts, this season Budweiser's got your back. Head to the store right now and look for our specials. Why go all over town looking for that perfect gift when Budweiser takes care of everyone in one convenient ice-cold package? When you stock up on Budweiser with our specials, you'll have plenty to share with your friends and family. They'll all appreciate that Budweiser's brewed the hard way and has been for 140 years. We use the finest barley, malt, and hops grown in Idaho and Germany. We don't take any shortcuts when we're brewing. That's our tradition. So make the most of your holidays. Stop by your local store now for our specials. Grab enough Budweiser for yourself, your friends, and your family. It's a new holiday tradition everyone can enjoy together. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, Instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com. Artie, welcome back in, everybody. Yep, Chris the Bammer, we're going to get to it. I love it. He says, yeah, spin the wheel. We're getting to more. Don't you worry. Hey, how about this? Terrence is already locked and loaded. He's in the Dreamland Pick 3 this week. We are having it for championship weekend. Week 14 of the NFL is included as well, so get involved with any of those games you want. Just have your selections in by the time your first game kicks. How do we know? Because they're time-stamped, so don't be trying to get tricky with us. Dreamland Pick 3 this weekend will be our final Dreamland Pick 3, and then, Barry, we'll roll into our bowl prediction contest, and, man, we're so super excited about that in conjunction with Yellowhammer News. We're going to give you all the information about that on Monday, but we got some great prizes in store for you, topped off by that $1,000 travel voucher from the Montgomery Regional Airport. Yep, you'll be able to use that $1,000 voucher to get a lot of places on Delta or American Airlines straight out of MGM, getting better the more you use it, the Montgomery Regional Airport.
Let's hit the topic. But by the way, updating you on some of the National Signing Day stuff, on some of it. We mentioned Troy getting the kid from Paducah. I like it.
Yeah.
Quarterback.
Does he play?
He's a quarterback.
Sweet.
From Paducah. His offensive coordinator is Corey Robinson, who set all kinds of records as a quarterback at Troy. He's from Paducah.
Trying to think of the high school from there in Paducah.
Tilghman, I think, is the name of it.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Offensive lineman from Marietta, Georgia. Wide receiver from Portsmouth, Ohio for Troy. Meanwhile, for Alabama, a quick look. Stephen M. gave you a lot of those names. 10 signed so far that I see, including a lot of really good ones. Last one I saw, Alabama had at that point the number 1 class if they could keep them all, and they're off to a really good start there. Auburn has a signing from a guy named Ty Buster.
Ty
Buster. Buster. I love it. Please tell me his name is Ty Buster, because that's how we pick our Dreamland Pick 3 every week.
Is it Tybuster? His last name is Buster, like Douglas.
Yeah. Anquan Fagans has signed. Eric Winters from down here in Enterprise has signed. So it's underway. It's underway.
Where is Buster Douglas today? Woo, man.
Buster's from Columbus, Ohio, and he's probably still living off.
He's probably
his winnings for knocking out Mike Tyson.
380, maybe, you think? He was a pretty big guy when he beat Tyson.
Yeah, he was. Years ago.
I remember that. It was in Tokyo. That fight was in Japan.
Yes, it was at the Tokyo Dome. Yes.
That's exactly right. I guess jet lag got the best of Iron Mike. Who knows? Yes. All right, Chris, get ready. Here it goes. We're going to spin the Big Plan 777 topic wheel yet again on this Wednesday and see what we got left.
There we go. All right, 4 left, right?
Okay. ACC fans.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about Robbie from Greenville, who's a huge ACC fan. Bama fans, have you turned into ACC fans for the game Saturday in Charlotte? I believe it's a night game. I believe that game's at night in Charlotte. If I'm not mistaken, I know the Big Ten game's at night.
I'm on it. Hang on.
I think the ACC game's at night as well. So are Bama fans now rooting for the Pony Express? Are they big SMU fans now? They're going to be rooting for Rhett Lashley, former offensive coordinator at Auburn?
Yes. ACC championship, ABC in Charlotte, 7:00 tonight, exactly against the Big Ten championship on CBS.
Yeah.
Both of them start at 7 o'clock. I know. Quad box. Yeah, but
I'll probably go dual box. Yeah, you know what? If you can make the pictures bigger and just have dual box instead of quad box. Now, don't get me wrong, Barry. I had quad box on last night watching some SEC, ACC basketball. It was awesome.
Yeah, quad box. If you go quad box, you get ACC championship, Big Ten championship, Sun Belt championship, which begins at 6:30, and then the NCAA second round, NCAA Division I AA, the FCS second round between Lehigh and Idaho from the Kibbe Dome. So you can get all 4 of those at the same time.
Yeah. Where's the Sun Belt championship game?
It'll be in Lafayette, Louisiana, at the Cajun Field.
All right. So, Barry, when I was younger and Bill Fleming would flash the scores on Saturday during the ABC telecast, back when you were maybe on TV twice, if you were lucky 3 times in a season. And I remember they'd roll those scores and they're like Lehigh would pop up. And I'm thinking of like Lee High School over here on Ann Street when I was like 10. I'm going, wait a minute. Why are they giving the Lehigh score only one E in Lehigh?
Yeah, and it's one word. And Theodis, he meant when he was younger, not when he was older.
Younger, sorry.
Yeah, Lehigh at Idaho. I know Idaho's the Vandals. I want to say Lehigh is that's Lafayette is the Leopards.
Where's Lehigh located?
It's in, I want to say Easton, Pennsylvania. I know it's in Pennsylvania somewhere.
Wow.
So there you go.
I think Easton's a
Easton's where Larry Holmes is from, talking about great heavyweight.
Really? Don't they make like ammunition or something? Isn't that a brand? Maybe they make it there in Easton, Pennsylvania.
They make aluminum bats. I know that.
Maybe that's it. All right. Bama fan or ACC fans? I got to think they are. I mean, of all the championship games played, they'll probably take a look at Texas and Georgia. Who do you think Bama fan wants to win that game? Georgia or Texas?
Well, they beat Georgia. So Georgia winning would probably help, I guess, wins and losses. It would be a quality win. Texas, if Georgia loses, maybe that takes a tiny bit of the shine off Alabama's resume. So I guess if I'm an Alabama fan, I'm rooting for Georgia.
I got to think, and I'll take a poll here. Let's hear this on the River Region Straw chat line, or you can email us in our Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry email inbox, longshoremcknight@gmail.com. No matter what team you root for in the SEC, who do you want to see win it? Do you want to see Texas waltz their way into Atlanta, first year in the league, think they're bigger and badder and better than everybody out there? Wait a minute,
the most smug fan base in the country would be able to say definitely in this league.
Yeah.
Would be able to, especially Texas A&M fans.
Ooh,
Texas A&M's been trying for 14 years and they ain't even made it yet. Texas in their first year just eases in.
Zips on into Atlanta. Or do you want Georgia, who's won it multiple times, had a lot of success? Do you want an old guard school to take over and win the lit championship in Atlanta? Or Texas is good. I'm good with that. There again, if you're asking me, I'm thinking, I just don't think I want Texas to ease in year one and think, we'll do this every year. I think I'd like to see Georgia beat Texas on Saturday.
I will say this. If Alabama does make the playoffs, I would wager that they would play one of those two teams again. There's a decent chance, they would play one of those two teams.
Yep.
I would rather it would be Texas because we've already seen them play Georgia.
I agree.
There's going to be a lot of that this year, possibly the next several years, definitely, where there's going to be rematches over and over again. And there may be a time where their team plays somebody 3 times.
I'm wondering about
this. Not a fan of that. I would rather, if Alabama's got to play one of those, and they very possibly might, I'd rather it be Texas than Georgia just because I've seen it already.
Probably got to do a little research. I don't think you're going to be able to. Maybe you can off the top of your head. Is Georgia and Texas the only conference championship matchup this weekend where these teams could possibly meet for a third time?
Yes. Well, there might be another one. I mean, I've got the potential matchups up there.
Does UNLV play Boise this year?
Yes,
they have.
They have. I feel like they have as well.
Yeah.
But again, Oregon will play Penn State for the Big Ten championship. They didn't meet in the regular year. So yeah, I think that is the only.
I think it
one.
could. Let me ask you this one too, because I thought about this last night when I saw this team pop up. Wasn't Arizona State terrible like 2 years ago when Herm Edwards was out there?
Yeah,
how have they gotten into their conference championship in 2 years?
Well, that leads into the text here or the chat here from John Dent. He says, "Is Rhett Lashley the next Auburn coach, Barry?" I don't know when it'll happen. Obviously, there's not an opening at Auburn. Lashley has done a great job at SMU. He's a possibility. But Arizona State, Kenny Dillingham, he has been fantastic there in any way that you can measure. As a matter of fact, he got a big bonus for winning 10 games this year and making it to his conference championship. He sent an email out to some of the staffers, like the cafeteria workers, some of the grad assistants in the video, saying that they're going to get a bonus this year. They're going to get like a $1,000 bonus or whatever. He didn't tell them that it ain't coming from the school. It came from him. His bonus for winning 10 games is going to the support people.
Good for him.
Lashley would be a good candidate for Auburn. Watch out for Kenny Dillingham. The only I'd love to see Lashley get it. My only reservation about Kenny Dillingham being the coach, and Chris the Bammer has already hit us up on it, Kenny Dillingham has a funny name.
Yeah,
and you don't think, like Chris the Bammer says, Denny Killingham.
Is that the guy, Barry, that never was on the sidelines or in the booth the whole time? And I'm thinking, is this guy really on Auburn staff? I've never seen him.
Well, he was only, both of them weren't there for very long. Dillingham was there for 1 year. Lashley may have been there for 3.
Yeah. And maybe they didn't leave in the best of terms, but I can promise you, they give those two guys enough money, they'll walk back to Auburn.
All about that.
Yeah. I've said that forever. They want me to be the mascot. If the numbers are right, I'm there.
Get a ball.
Yeah.
It's just, I know people fixate on certain things about coaches at certain schools. Terry Bowden was short. Tuberville's ears were a little larger than average. Called him wing nut and freeze warning and potato Gus and cheese it or cheese whiz
5 and 29.
Yeah,
remember every May 29, 5 and 19, 5 and 19.
You know that there's going to be something they'll fix on. And if the guy's name's Dillingham, we're never going to hear the end of it.
No, not at all.
Anyway,
all right, let's take a quick break. I think Mary Ann from Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry is going to join us when we hop back on for just a moment to tell you about all the great deals going on out there. We got some more topics on the Victorland 777 topic wheel we got to get to.
A lot to do still with Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Shopping for a budget-friendly, reliable used car, or maybe a stunning new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram? Well, in Prattville, it's always a process that starts with the team of professionals from Stivers CDJR. Thanks to years of experience helping others in the local community enjoy premium service, low prices, and access to a wealth of amazing new and used cars, it's safe to say that Stivers Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram is the name to beat in Prattville. But hey, just don't take my word for it. Experience the Stivers difference for yourself. Prices that will not be beat, a huge inventory, and knowledgeable, helpful sales associates. See why so many happy car and truck buyers shop at Stivers CDJR, where price sells cars and trucks on Cobbsford Road in Prattville. Enjoy all the food, drink, fun, and winning at Victoryland. An elevated entertainment value, the best overall casino experience, and the highest jackpot payouts makes Victoryland the place to be. Go to Victoryland.com to find out more about their incredible giveaways, daily promotions, and free play opportunities. 777 Casino, simulcast thoroughbred, and greyhound racing are all within a short drive from anywhere in the Southeast. Victoryland, I-85, exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. At Victoryland, you can be a winner too.
Happy holidays from Marguerite's. And every year we do an unbelievable $99 Christmas special. And it's got to be 14 karat white or yellow gold, and it's got to be high quality Marguerite's diamonds. Well, this year it's the best one ever. It's individual 14 karat letters that we've cut out and added a 7-point diamond to on a 14 karat necklace. Impossible. That's right. All the initial diamond necklaces, $99 at Marguerite's till Christmas.
You know all about the 12 days of Christmas, but what about the 12 days of Dixie? We're giving away 12 of this year's hottest holiday gifts. Just go to facebook.com/Dixie Electric Plumbing Air and comment on the daily prize post using the hashtag 12 days of Dixie, and you're automatically entered to win. The winner's name is posted on Facebook the following day with the opportunity to enter daily. The 12 days of Dixie is going on right now.
Okay, here we are back at it. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And Mary Ann is joining us here from Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. It's the Christmas season. A lot going on at Marguerite's. The store is absolutely beautiful with decorations and beautiful with gorgeous jewelry items. Tell us about it, Mary Ann.
Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning, listeners. Made it to the store on time, so it's not going to be a commute talk. Just wanted to let you guys know that we just received a shipment of, check it out, beautiful.
Oh, beautiful.
Chains. I know men's jewelry is in right now. And everybody has a question, wants to see about them, know about them coming in. Wives are coming in for their husbands, asking if we have any chains. We have rope now, Cuban, all kinds of different fancy links. So, and men have been coming in for themselves, which is awesome. And we just really haven't had that many. And we just got a huge shipment in. So if you're wanting to get someone, the baseball trend for guys wearing necklaces has caught to the general public. And we've got them. It's not the easiest thing to get these days. Manufacturers, we have great gold distributors from Italy, and we just got the shipment in. So we've got the men taken care of. We're getting bracelets in as we speak. And if you see, I'm wearing the necklace that you just put up on the screen.
Right.
Marguerite's $99 special necklace, 14 karat white or yellow gold, and with a natural Marguerite's quality diamond, which is beautiful. We've been selling them like crazy. So if you're wondering and thinking like maybe I need to get one, now's the time. You can go ahead and get your pre-orders and custom deals as well.
Speak about the convenience of those $99 specials, because everybody's busy, Mary Ann, and don't oftentimes have a lot of time to spend and browse. The $99 special is a perfect avenue for those busy shoppers, right?
Oh, most definitely. It's a no-brainer. We've got you covered. So just come in, tell us the letter, tell us the color gold. We'll wrap you up. Again, I'm at the wrapping station, getting you all wrapped up for the holidays. Beautiful Marguerite's wrapping, and we'll get you in and out. We realize that life is busy, and so we want to make sure to take care of all of our customers. But if you've got time on your hands, we'll take you around all the cases, answer all of your questions.
And of course, your hours of operation, very convenient during the Christmas season. You're open 7 days a week.
Yeah. 7 days a week. We're open 10 to 6, Monday through Saturday, 12 to 6 on Sunday. So 7 days a week, we've got you covered. We really want to fit in your schedule. You can call ahead and we can help you. You can text our number, which is 334-270-0074. If you need to kind of pre-shop or have any questions, again, we're happy to take our time with you, whatever way to make it most convenient for you.
Before we let you go, show us that necklace again, Mary Ann.
Here we go. Yep, there we go, guys.
There it is.
Yep, so pretty and for Mary Ann. People are asking, so I'm going to go ahead and start telling the listeners out there. A lot of people are doing their first initials. So like I'm Mary Ann, so I got the M. But if there's a newlywed or somebody like that that just changed their last name and they want to do that, we have every letter and we can help out with that too.
How about that? That's
Awesome.
wonderful stuff. Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, Pepper Tree Center in Montgomery, right next to Chappie's Deli. Marianne, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Great stuff from Marianne out there, 8163 Vaughn Road in Pepper Tree. Get on out there and see them. All right, let's spin that wheel one more time today, Gerd, and see what else we got left. We have to maybe hold some over for tomorrow. We'll do that as well. Got a big show tomorrow. We'll tell you about that in just a second, but we are on month to go. Months to go. Barry, if the college football playoff does not play out like Alabama fans want it to happen, it's going to be a long month. It's going to be a long month until Alabama plays again, which is probably going to be on New Year's Eve, 11 in the morning, Illinois. It's going to be a long month.
What do you do? I mean, it's basketball.
I guess.
Basketball's the thing, obviously.
I mean, I hate to wrap the show up on such a downer, but chew on that for a minute. I know there's been a lot of excitement and giddiness about what happened last night, and you're feeling a little bit better, but just think about what could happen. Whew. You're talking about a long month. Being at those Christmas parties. Well, what do you think about Illinois? Who? What? Huh? Illinois. Oh, yeah, the ReliaQuest Bowl.
Whole month of all you got to do is sit there and chat Longshore and McKnight about freeze warning and, the
hoodie sweatshirt that he wore in the Iron Bowl.
Let's not leave on a downer. Let's talk about tomorrow's show.
Let's do it.
It's bound to be at least as busy and even more entertaining than today's show was.
Well, we're going to try to top it. We'll do our best. Yep. Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, is going to join us around 7:30 tomorrow. Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market at the top of the hour, number 2. And then Bart Heisch, our resident college basketball analyst, former Mississippi State player on their Final Four team, will join us to break down tonight's basketball action. State's playing. So is Auburn. So is Alabama. It's the ACC SEC Challenge.
We're a basketball show these days, especially if Alabama doesn't make it to the college football playoff. Well, so we've got a lot going on. We certainly encourage everybody who's checking us out on YouTube and on Facebook, Spotify, and all of that. Hit the subscribe and like button on YouTube, and we appreciate every one of you. That's our program. For John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight. In conjunction with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.